Daryl here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is programminginanylanguage.com or black-duck.com. They both take you to the same place. And it's a place where you'll find the videos and PDFs of the code in most cases. The video is the Anything Database version 3 part 2, adding a record. Part 2 is all about adding records to the database. That sounds simple enough. Enter data, save data. In a sense, that's true. But we need to separate some functionality. If the user is in the middle of an ad and changes his or her mind, we need to provide a way to cancel the operation. That said, if the user likes what they have seen enter on the screen, the ability to save that data needs to be a separate process, which we'll call update. And you'll quickly learn that we'll be using update later when we give the user the ability to edit records as well. An update will be responsible for formatting each field and applying the field to a structure so that they can be added to our list. Okay, we've got our structure in place in our program, and we've got our form designed. Now we're going to try and add a record. So this will allow us to begin to put things in, which will also trigger the navigation piece in this thing. So we're going to be looking at the Anything Database version 3 part 2, adding a record. As you can see in our hierarchy chart, adding a record is in the center section right here. We're going to add a record to the list, basically. We're going to flip our buttons, and we're going to either do an update or a cancel based on it. So basically, the user has the ability to turn on add, and then that user can also make a decision whether to complete the ad or cancel out of it. Let's take a look. A little bit simpler if you see it like this. So now we're looking at the ad, adding a record to the list, flipping the buttons. They can cancel, which simply sets our focus back to text box and flip the buttons back again. Otherwise, we're going to go through and add the record to the list, flip the buttons, update, replace the record, and then set focus to text box and flip the buttons. So that's really what we're going to be doing with this particular thing. In this case, in adding a record, we will be using a label record count right here. We'll be updating this as we add records to it. All of the fields in here, text last name, text middle initial, first name, address line 1 and 2, text city, state, and zip, will all get used because we're going to be adding pieces to them. Even if nothing's filled in, we're still going to fill them with blanks so that they become part of it. Our user message will pop up here wherever we're going, record added, top of file, whatever is going to be sitting up here. That's going to be our navigation informational panel for our user. The navigation is going to turn on once we do add a record because we will be able to actually go through there and navigate through the records going forward and backwards. The button add will be here. Button update and button cancel will appear as well because they'll be used when the user has to make a decision whether he wants to go ahead with the ad or cancel it. Okay, so I'm going to double click on the add button here so we can actually get to the code window on this. And I'll do that like this. And there's our button add. What do we want to do in here? Well, it's kind of interesting because what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of methods to here as well as some Booleans as well. So we'll go ahead and pop those things in and I'll explain what all those are. We're going to BLN adding is going to be equal to true. It's a Boolean. It's going to tell the update and cancel routine that we're actually going to tell the update routine primarily that we're doing an adding. We're going to actually do this because we're going to be using something very similar to this when we actually do editing as well. So we want to be able to turn on a switch to tell the update routine whether we're adding or editing. In fact, we'll go up to the top right now and we'll add these things to our utility variables. So I'm going to go up to the top here where we got those utility variables sitting. Where do I have them sitting? I don't have them sitting. I'm going to add a couple of things here. I'm going to actually create a section called utility variables. I'm going to pop them right into this list. And we'll put it right in here. What I'm going to add here is a string, str35 blanks. Basically, it's going to be a bunch of blanks here. I'm going to add these things to whatever's in the text box. So when we grab this, we can truncate so that anytime we put in Daffy or Elm or whatever, we're also going to add a bunch of blanks to it and then truncate it to be exactly the number of characters we want for the first name, 15 characters. Last name, 20 characters. So that blank will be used in there. The Boolean adding, we set the false. We have a Boolean editing. We may as well put that in here at the same time because we're going to be doing editing next probably after adding or sometime after that. And this will tell the update routine what we're actually doing if we're adding or editing. So we can just go back down here to this thing. Now you can see that our error came off of this thing. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be enabling the text boxes. Because remember, when we turn this thing on, the text boxes are unenabled. You can't type anything in them. So we want to turn them on. We also want to clear them in case there's anything in them. And we want to flip the button so that basically once add is pressed, all the buttons disappear except update and cancel. They will actually appear. So we're going to set those things up right now. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the enabled text boxes. This will be a method. We're going to pop it right down here and lay it in there. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to take all those text boxes not enabled and make them not enabled. So it's going to reverse them. If they're enabled, we're going to unenable it. If they're unenabled, we're going to enable it. This will allow us to go either way on that. So enable text box, probably a bad name for it. Probably should be flip text boxes. But this is fine. We know what we're going to be doing here. That gets rid of the error we have here. We also want to clear the text boxes. So we'll set up a method for that right away. And we can put that right underneath here as well. And this is going to set everything to nulls. So anything in those text boxes is going to be blanked out here. And we're also going to set the focus so that the user is sitting at the first name ready to type in. Doesn't have to pick up the mouse and move the cursor at all. It's going to pop right there and go from that. So that's going to be a clearing a text box. Gets rid of that error. And the next thing will be flip buttons. We'll put the flip buttons routine right here. And it's going to look like this. It's going to take the add, edit, update, delete, clear, all these guys. And it's going to make them not visible or invisible, depending upon where their status is right now. In other words, when we hit the add button and we do a flip buttons routine, it's going to make update and cancel appear. If we cancel or update, once we're done with that, it's going to flip them back to the standings where they actually were. We can at least see part of that now. We're going to go ahead and run this just to kind of get an idea what's going on. And we'll put a start on this thing. Our routine's going to come up. So far, no errors. We're just fine here. Because all we did was work with the add button. We have not done anything with the cancel or the update. Update or cancel routines. So if I decide to go in here, there's nothing showing up in here. We have no records. If I hit add, bang, it puts my cursor right there and allows me to type something in. So I can start putting something Daffy, D-U-C-K, and put other stuff in there as well. And notice that down here, I only have the choice now of updating or cancel. I can't do anything else. I've got to finish this process. I've got to either cancel it or update it. Right now, I'm programming these so these things don't work. But that's what we're going to do next. We're going to program the cancel button to get out of this situation. And we're also going to program the update button to provide the situation and actually add a record to our database, to our list, to our structure in our list. All this will be sitting inside a structure, and we'll add it to a list. So let's try and do that next. We're going to cancel this out. Even the exit button's not showing here because we can't exit. We don't want to exit out of here normally. So let's take a look now. What I'm going to do for our own peace of mind is I'm going to go ahead and send this to the back. And I'm going to send this one to the back, delete the back. That way I'm looking at the cancel update buttons and I can work on those things next and make that all happen. The cancel button is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to go double click on this thing. That's going to open the cancel button. What do I want to do? Well, I want to flip those buttons. I want to enable text boxes again. I want to clear the text boxes. I want to set my Boolean to false. And I want to give it an operational message to the user. So basically I want to undo all the things I did in button add. In other words, get us back to where we were before we actually pressed the button add button. So how do I do that? I put these routines in here. I put the flip button routine in here to flip the buttons back. I enable text boxes to close them up so I can't type in them anymore. I clear the text boxes and I make my adding false, and I'm sitting there with operation canceled to tell the user that he actually canceled it. That's all I need to do for this. That'll make the cancel button work. Let's take a look at that and see. We'll go ahead and do our add again. Works perfectly. Type in Daffy, D-U-C-K, 1122 Pond Lake Road. And now I'm going to say to myself, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I want to cancel this. So I hit the cancel button, and it puts us exactly where we were before. Everything is unenabled, and all the data is cleared up. We've added no records. We simply got out of it. We're sitting ready to do an add again. We could easily go back in and do an add, and it pops up just like that, back and forth. So that's working just great. So cancel is really easy to do. Now we're going to the update button. It'll be a little bit more difficult. but not that much more difficult. I'm going to go into my update button and double click on it. Creates my routine. What I want to do, well, I want to read all the stuff that's sitting out there in the text boxes. I want to increase the record count because I'm about to update it. I want to display the record count. I want to flip the buttons. I want to enable text boxes, clear text boxes. My Boolean adding is going to be set to false, and I want to do another message there. So basically, I want to do these routines right here. And all but two exist. So that's kind of nice. I can, I want to read that entry. Well, I got to figure out how I'm going to do that by creating a method for that. I'm going to increment the record count to 1. I'm going to display the record count. I haven't set that up yet, so I'll have to set that up. I want to flip the buttons, enable, clear, Boolean adding is set to false, and the rest is record successfully added. It's going to go in there as well. So I've got two routines I'm going to have to create here to make this thing work. So our read data entry, how are we going to actually do that? We want to basically read all the data that's in those text boxes. We want to append a series of blanks to the back end of them and then truncate them down to the size that we actually want to save. 15 for the first name, 20 for the last name, and so on. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and put that in right after the update button is where I'm going to put this particular method. And we'll pop it in here. Here's our read data entry. Notice the error goes away. But what are we doing here? We're setting up a var new record equals new person. So we're setting up a new structure, basically, is what we're actually doing. So we're going to grab all those pieces that are in the text area and apply them to the structure. So what happens? Once we have new records set up as a person structure, we can say new record.str first name is text first name plus 35 blanks dot substring from 0 to 15. Grab those first 15 positions and save them. That's all I really want. So Daffy gets 35 blanks put on the back end, DAFFY plus 35. We got 40 characters sitting out there right now. Once we've got that set there, concatenated together, we take from 0 to 15 and grab that piece, which is Daffy, DAFFY, and 10 blanks, and save it into the string first name. Middle initial, no problem there. It is only one character long. String last name is going to be the last name in the text area with its blanks, and we're going to have 20 of those. Same thing with string address line 1. We'll take whatever's in the address line, add 35 blanks to it, then grab 35 characters in there. If it's nothing in that particular column, we're going to get 35 blanks. Same thing with address line 2. City is going to be 35 blanks, but it's only going to be 25 long. We're only allowing 25 characters for the city. The state, 2 characters. We're simply going to take it and apply whatever's in the state plus 2 blanks. I could have used the str 35 blanks and then truncated it, but why not just blank blank? It's just easy to type 2 blanks in there. Same thing with the zip. I pop in the zip code there, add 5 blanks to it, so I've got really whatever's in the zip code area plus 5 more blanks. If nothing's in there, it's only 5 blanks. And then I take that 0, 5, and grab that. Then I say anything list.add new record. This is what adds it to the list. New record, that structure gets added to the list then, and that's what increments our list file. So now we have one record sitting in our list that's actually a structure of all these particular elements that are in there. Need to display the record count next. That's fairly simple. It's a routine that looks something like this. We'll pop that right in here. There's our display record. I took rid of the error. All we're doing here is we're taking label.text equals int record count to string because we incremented it up here. So we're actually going to pop that in. We're going to say if it's greater than 0, turn on navigation so we can start working with this thing and then go from there. That's all we really need to do. Do a file save on this. And we'll do a run. Looks the same as we had it before, except now we can do an add. This time we can put in Daffy. "1122 Pond Lake Road." We'll make it apartment 2. And Pond City. We'll put them in California. 98343. And this time we'll hit update. What happens? Record successfully added. We have 1 in the count, and that's all there is to it. Once we exit this, of course, it's gone. because we really would need to save the routine and put it onto a disk. So we're going to have to do that next. Maybe save the record so we're not constantly retyping the same ones over and over again to create this task. But I can add another one if I want. I can add Elmer Fudd right now. 235 Hunter's Lane. He doesn't need an apartment. He's got his own house. He's all in Pond City. And I don't remember what I call the zip code, but it's 981-234, whatever. Update it. And we successfully have a second record in there. And can I navigate through those things? I haven't set up navigation, so I can't right now. But they're ready to do that, so we need to set up navigation. We need to do load and save. Save first, and then load. Save, I think, is probably more critical because we're not going to want to be doing these records over and over again. We want to get a batch out there that we can actually have and test as we do all the rest of this thing, like search, delete, and all that kind of stuff. But that's how you add a button. That's all there is to it to make that all happen. So that's add in a nutshell. Well, we can now add records to our list. Saving that data would be nice. But before we do that, let's turn on navigation and let the user browse through the records in the list. That's what we'll do next. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance, and please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.